I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the Stinger SMG is completely counterable, but there are absolutely some measures that you can put in place to ensure that you don't fall victim to the high fire rate of this weapon. So the first action you have to take is to assess whether or not the opponent is a sprayer. In this meta, it's just safe to assume, yes, they probably are. The 2 points in this fight where it was clear to Chapix is firstly his initial beam when he got sprayed for roughly 50 HP, and then the second, as soon as he started to build up, that Stinger SMG came out and started to spray his walls down again. It's clear this is the opponent's first port of call. So after establishing this, the very first thing that Chapix does is give himself 2 layers of builds between himself and the opponent. This is with a wall and a ramp in this particular instance. Because the fire rate of this SMG is so high, it's always going to go through your turbo build even if you're on 0 ping, so giving yourself 2 layers against a spray like this is 100% critical. Now if that player has sufficient ammo, there's no reason for him to stop spraying, so notice next, Chapix instantly whips out his own SMG and just starts spraying back, trying to stop that opponent's pressure with his own aggression. And this nets him a pretty easy 17 damage shot, which seems minimal, but it makes the opponent play a little bit more carefully. This then also gives him enough time to pop a big ball and put himself back in the fight. And this right here is a perfect example of why you want to be the aggressive player, not the defensive player. Look at the amount of damage that Chapix manages to do to this opponent just purely by spraying at a wall that isn't doubled up. An obvious note here is that this opponent is also using wood. Well, if we go straight back to the start of the fight, as soon as Chapix got sprayed, notice how he switched to his hard materials almost instinctually. You cannot sit in wood in this current meta. If you take one thing away from this video, please just let it be that. Now, finishing up fights is actually probably the most common error I see and the easiest way to get 200 0'd by these SMGs, but Chapix knows better. Look how he's staying on a right hand peak to replace the wall and slide the cone in. Now he's not running inside the box, because if he misses his pump shot, he can easily get 200 0'd, and look, he ends up missing. Now from here on out, you can see the opponent try to start running towards him, so Chapix swings to the left and keeps his distance even further, denying the opponent the possibility of turning this fight around. Another good example of this is from Xweez, where you can see he's hit the opponent for a big 100 damage shot and then even shot a couple times through the wall to damage them even further, and still he's not jumping into the box because he knows that gives the opportunity to the opponent to actually be able to clutch up. He keeps his distance, keeps his time, and notice as soon as this other player tries to take out his SMG, he's already dead. Now, not every single fight you're going to be able to go into in every position is going to be on that right-hand peak, so there's got to be some other ways that you can prevent players from just running out at you with their SMGs. Noah Rayleigh in this clip, for example, does a pretty basic wall replace while placing a cone that he can stand on and sliding one in the other box. Notice the movement is really clean. He swings to the left to ensure the opponent can't start that SMG spray. Now, the critical part in this is that as soon as he's hit that shot and scroll reset the wall, he's holding it and he's just waiting there. A super common thing that players will do is that once you've reset the wall, they're just going to try and spray through it and run into your box. But if you're sitting holding it, well, they can't do that. So he's taking his time, he's assessing what the opponent does, and that then gives him the opportunity to jump over and finish the fight pretty quickly. The cone that he's standing on also gives him an opportunity to jump out of the box if that player does manage to get through his wall, as shown here by Vidil. Another variation of this can be shown here by Andalex. As that player tries to run through the wall, he does the exact same thing where he holds wall, but this time jumps and lands on the floor up above, just in case that player got right through. Now he does whiff an edit on the wall, but then he does proceed to chase down this player and pick up that very easy elimination. And setup for these fights is basically the most important part. If you allow yourself to 50-50, if you get really close to walls, if you jump in their box, yeah, they're going to have an SMG more than likely, and they're going to be able to hit that big damage off. Now, look how Chapix approaches this fight. He has absolutely no information at all, and he's keeping his distance while spraying at that wall. He's making sure that he always has the right-hand peak on this little wall too, lands up the crosshair, and then picks up the easy elimination on the player coming out. This is basically what you're going to experience a lot with lower-level players in Arena and low-level cash cups, and it's super easy to make a mistake and go down to players like this. You must be extra careful, keep your distance, and keep your right hand peaks as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. Please subscribe if you aren't already. Peace.